EP producer.
Show your allegiance, show your loyalty to destination, Liberia. The flag of Liberia is flying on the sun. Show your allegiance, show your loyalty to destination, Liberia. The red on the flag is forever. The white on the flag is for purity. The star is for republic. The blue is for black people. We know Liberia is our home. The Declaration of Independence was signed in 1847. 11 percent of people we are known as First Republic. The Lone Star shining evermore. Liberia is flying on the sun. Show your allegiance, show your loyalty to this nation. The people who are poor and money, they humble themselves, they see my bed. I will rise and heal their nation. Liberia will rise again. Nations will come to your rising. I prophesy. Freedom, freedom, Liberia.
EP producer.
Freedom, freedom, Liberia. Freedom, freedom, Liberia. It's flying on the sun. Show your allegiance, show your loyalty to destination, Liberia. The flag of Liberia is flying on the sun. Show your allegiance, show your loyalty to destination, Liberia. The red on the flag is forever. The white on the flag is for purity. The star is for republic. The blue is for black people. We know Liberia is our home. The Declaration of Independence was signed in 1847. 11 percent of people we are known as First Republic. The Lone Star shining evermore. Liberia is flying on the sun. Show your allegiance, show your loyalty to this nation, Liberia. The people who are poor and money, they humble themselves, they see my bed. I will rise and heal their nation. Liberia will rise again.
What I'd like to say, good afternoon and welcome. Welcome to Bitz and Pieces. Bitz and Pieces is here on Voice of Liberia every weekdays, Mondays to Fridays, at about 2 to 4 o'clock in the afternoon. Today is Friday, and of course, I'd like to say welcome to the Friday's edition of the show Bitz and Pieces. It's good to have you from wherever you've joined us. Welcome to the weekend's presentation of Bits and Pieces, as it promises to be very, very firing this afternoon on the show. A lot of issues to talk about, a lot of things trending in our country that we're going to talk about this afternoon on the show. And 2:30 we'll have Avin Weezer. Avin Weezer will sit on the show this afternoon. We'll talk about too many issues. You listen to the Vice President Jeremiah Kuhn addressed against former President George Weah. Avi will be here to talk about or to respond to the Vice President, and we'll also talk about the performance of the Unity Party. And now leaving out the issues happening up Capitol Hill. The majority bloc, they begin suspended Muka Kamara and Jerry Yobo of the minority bloc. We'll have some conversations surrounding the guy's suspension. We'll also talk about the retreat being held by the quote-unquote majority bloc. According to them, the retreat is intended to reconcile or to bring to an end the saga of Capitol Hill. And so we'll have some conversation surrounding that as well. And so those of you following the live, just leave your comment. We will do the acknowledgement as we move on with the show. And of course, the cash giveaway is up. We're giving out 20,000. Yes, we're giving out $20,000 on Bits and Pieces this afternoon. So the code to play is *799 *20 hash, *799 *20 hash. Play with 200 Liberian dollars, and you win for yourself 20,000. *799 *20 hash. Play with just 200 Liberian dollars, and then you win 20,000 Liberian dollars. Let's take this song right here. To be back when we come back, we'll kick off our discussion right here on the show. And like I said, 2:30, our man Avin Weezer will join us on the show, and we'll talk about too many issues. We'll talk about the CDC, how is the CDC, and some of the outbursts against the former president. Avin will respond. You've been following Henry Costa of recent. Too many statements he has made against the former president. And yes, Avin will be here 2:30, and he will respond to some of the comments coming in towards the former president, His Excellency George Weah. Let's take this song. CRC. The song is called Congratulations. It's a wonderful piece. Keep playing the cash giveaway. You have to continue to play. Yeah, play continuously. *799 *20 hash. *799 *20 hash. You play with 200, you win 20,000. Let's go for the song.
With originalhits.com.
Download your favorite song at originalhits.com.
Pepe can change go. If my person know what to do it, do. They pocket rock you. Lepe, when you come in, choo. I can see. All the good father do for me, oh. I pay your blessing to plant me, and I get cut up to do, oh. You open door, you made a way. My enemy can't pay. They want to hold the down. I let them people make their me away. So that I'm not telling you, okay.
And of course, welcome back to the show. Welcome back to the show this afternoon on Voice of Liberia 104.1 in the nation's capital and out of frequency across the country. It's good to have you from wherever you are and how best you go about listening. Welcome, and let's do it together. Too many things happening in this little Miami. Too many things happening. Too many statements and too many things happening in this country. And we going to look at some of the issues happening in Liberia and some of the statement coming from our leaders and all of that. And so I'd like to say welcome. Keep playing the cash giveaway, star 799 star 20 hash, star 799 star 20 hash. Play with $200 Liberian dollars, and then you stand a chance to win for yourself 20,000 Liberian dollars. And so the majority bloc, or a group of lawmakers up Capitol Hill calling themselves majority bloc, they are currently in a retreat. And according to them, the intent of the retreat or the retrieve is to bring to an end all of what's happening up Capitol Hill, and to ensure that the both parties, that of the majority and the minority bloc, can have a common ground, can have this issue resolved, and so that there be no issue of misunderstanding between lawmakers up Capitol Hill. But again, we got information yesterday that the majority bloc, they've also suspended Jerry Yogbo and that of Muka Kamara. Of recent, I think that was some part of the beginning of this week or last week, the end of last week, something like that. Representative Yeke Kaluba was also suspended at the time when they started a negotiation to bring in the Speaker of Ghana to have this retrieve and ensure that this issue is resolved between the majority bloc and that of the minority bloc. But like they've said, that the retrieve is intended to bring to an end what's happening on the rigmarole up Capitol Hill. I've sat and said to myself, what sort of reconciliation, or how are they intending to have this issue resolved or to reconcile with the both parties when the minority bloc, they now in the quote-unquote retrieve that is being held up Capitol Hill? And I sometimes sit and wonder as to how are they doing the entire thing. I don't know whether the Speaker of the Ghanaian Parliament, as to whether he met with the minority bloc, because you cannot come and you say you want to have a dispute resolved and you just come and meet a party. I'm told today he met with the president. I'm told he met with the president, Joseph Boakai. But is that how to have this issue resolved? Just come in and meeting with a party? You feel that's how to bring this issue to an end? And what sort of reconciliation are they having when they are suspending people at this time? What sort of reconciliation are they having when they're suspending people at this crucial point in time, where they're talking about having reconciliation? They're talking about reconciling the House of Representatives to bring to an end this issue, but now they're suspending people But you see, that's what you get when you have people that are very power grieved, and they feel the only way they can make life is by getting into to elected position, especially being speaker or being representative. That's what you get. So Kun feels that the only way he can steal from the country, the only way he can enrich himself is to remain as speaker. And that's why you see he's doing all of what he's doing. The looting, the increasing budget, and doing all sort of things. But look, we get a report that the speaker will resign. The embattled speaker for Kofa will resign. And if he's having to resign, even the Thomas Fala, they all will be pushing for an election. And they will be pushing for election to be held for the speakership. And there were another split will come out. Though we've not gathered any information as to whether he, Richard Kuhn, will be contesting, or as to whether he will agree for the House of Representatives to have election. Because the man already feels that he's the speaker. He's been supported by the executive branch of government. So probably he wants to go into the president so that they breach the entire thing, so that they will not have time for what the law says. Whether a speaker should be elected by his colleagues. Maybe he will talk to the president and say, "Oh, Prezo, yeah, mentee me." Talk to the guys so that they mentee me. But again, Liberians will be watching, and I know it won't be in fight. There will be an election conducted. There will automatically be an election conducted. So I don't know why Richard Kuhn and his guys will be misbehaving and just doing things their own way. You don't have the number. You don't have the power to even suspend your colleagues. Those you're suspending, in your words, they're not going to work and all of that. That's why you suspended them. Do you have the number? You have the numbers to suspend these guys? Automatically, no. So why suspend them when you don't have the power? But again, these guys, they've been supported by the executive. So that's why they continue to do what they're doing. Why you will have a number that don't have the strength, they don't have the authority to dismiss or to suspend their colleagues, but they carry out their suspension, their purported suspension in the voice of the Supreme Court. For what reasons? What are the reasons? You don't have the number. What prompted you to say you suspended your colleagues? So I think the Speaker of the Ghanaian Parliament will have to look at this situation very well, because it won't be good for him to come into Liberia and say, "Oh, I'm going Liberia to have this issue resolved," and you in the country, as if to say you've come to the country to have the entire thing to increase, to intensify the entire thing. Because you hear now the guys are suspending their colleagues that they said they want to reconcile with. The guys are saying that they're suspending their colleagues. They are now suspending their colleagues. Why you in the country? Why you here to have this issue resolved? But they're getting the guys angry continuously. They continue to get the guys angry. Oh, gentlemen, forget about what has happened. And let's have this resolved. Let's come on the round table and have some discussion and see how this issue can be resolved. But they're not doing it, but they're suspending people illegally. You guys don't have the numbers. Then you're these guys are brands of jokers. But I said it the other day, and I will say here again today. When you have people very irresponsible and they don't know the reason for which they were elected, that's what you get. That's why Liberians, we have to be careful when we go into election. When these people are coming to you and telling you that they want you elect, then you have to be careful. Because once you elect branch of jokers, that's what you get. And that's what's happening. So they will continue to do what they're doing. And I know it will reach a point where you, the ordinary people, you have to come out. I know it will reach a point where you, the ordinary people, will have to come out. While you have a country that should be guarded by laws, it has become very lawless. Oh yeah. The country has become very, very lawless. Everyone just doing their own thing. Somebody will just wake up some morning and just do whatever he or she feels of doing. Police brutality now is on the increase in our country. You have a vice president. Imagine a vice president. You leave from here and go to the US. Instead of you advocating on behalf of Liberians, you there using all set of words against the former president of the country and saying all set of things. Is that what you should be saying? Look, I think the executive, they don't understand that this country is heavily divided. Probably the executive, the executive, they don't understand this. And honestly, Liberia, as it stands, is being heavily divided. And to reconcile this country, the executive have a major role to play. But they're not doing it now. You're doing things that will intensify the division in our country. You vice president, you leave from here, you go to the US. You're not lobbying with the US government to ensure that some of the things that are going on, they resolved. But you're sitting there and talking about how the former president, that common man, the former president is like this and all of that. Is that what you should be saying as a vice president? He doesn't even sound like a vice president. He sounds very irresponsible. And I said it to someone the other day. I said, US president or US vice president can come into Liberia and come and say what our vice president is saying. Other countries, vice president won't travel other countries and go and denigrate their former president. But it is Jeremiah Kuhn that is doing this. And it is a shame. And I see people celebrating him on social media. I see people celebrating him, but you know why? These people are people that are driven by their belly. And that's why you see them, they do what they're doing. That's why you see them doing what they're doing. So you don't blame some of these people that are doing what they're doing. Automatically, you don't blame them. But Jeremiah Kuhn should take the responsibility of what he's doing. Jeremiah should be talking about his visit to the US. How will it, help the country? I think that's what he should be saying to the people of the country. But you sit there, and you're not talking nothing sound with your mouth. But you sit there and start to discuss somebody, former president, come on, man. And I think the reason that question was posted to Vice President Kuhn was to understand as to how is it like in terms of reconciliation, what are the strategies to ensure that the country, the division within the country, how is it like? Is it that the government is prioritizing it? Is it that the government is working around it? But from a response, it just tells you that how greedy he is for power. He can do anything to get to power. The vice president can do anything. Jeremiah can do anything to get to the presidency. And that's why he's signing it. I read one of the local dailies of recent, I think that was a day before yesterday or yesterday. And I saw a group endorsing him for 2029. Yes. I saw a group endorsing Jeremiah Kuhn for 2029. So you see now, the men have started to undermine the old man. And let me say this on this medium. The securities, those of you that are protecting the president will have to be careful with Jeremiah Kuhn. Yeah. Those of you protecting the president, you have to be careful with the vice president, Jeremiah Kuhn. Oh, yes. The man can do anything to get to the presidency. So don't take him for granted. He can do anything to get to the presidency of the country. So you guys have to be careful with him. Ambassador Joseph Boakai, the president of the Republic of Liberia, was elected constitutionally for 6 years. And we prayed and hoped that God will strengthen him, will give him the time that the man remained for the 6 years. And Liberians will go back to the pool after his 6 years. But what I have come to say to you, the securities around the president, the old man, y'all be careful with Jeremiah Kuhn. That's all I can say. That's all I can say. And I think the statement the president made the other day, he was referring to Jeremiah Kuhn. I want to believe so. He was referring to Jeremiah Kuhn, Vice President Kuhn. When he said, if you think you're thinking about 2029, and then they resign. Oh yeah, that Jeremiah Kuhn he was referring to. Because this guy is doing everything he can to get to the presidency. And that's why I've said the security, those of you protecting the president, y'all be careful with Jeremiah Kuhn. Because that man can do anything to get to the presidency. Well, we are aware. How Prince Johnson died. We are aware. Fellow Liberians. You aware? I'm aware. You are aware and I'm aware. It's a clear indication that the security is protecting the president. You'll be careful. That's all I can say. So Peter one day, he says, I'm following you from Crown Hill community. Peter, thank you. We have some issue with our Facebook, but I think it's resolved now. Yeah, one of our colleagues were going live on the page, so we're finding it difficult to get it straight. Otto says, I'm following from around the free port of Monrovia. Thank you, Otto. Just share the live, please. You can share the live, and the cash giveaway is also on. It's running *799 *20 hash *799 *20 hash. Alvin Wizard, like I said, Alvin Wizard is our guest, and too many issues we'll be talking about. Otto, welcome. He says, I'm following from around the free port of Monrovia. Otto, welcome, and thank you so much for joining us. Just keep sharing the live. So shortly we'll usher to the platform Avin Wise. Like I said, shortly Avin Wise will join us. Toga George says, good afternoon, George Way. My name is Toga George. I'm watching the show from Bangabon County District 2. Thanks so much. Okay, it's one of the dirty districts. Okay, Harris City says, good afternoon, VOL, following from Ankawel, New Georgia resident. Welcome, keep sharing the live. So we will take this break. We'll go for this break. When we come back, we'll try to... Okay, let's keep it on. I'm too having it somewhere around our... it's somewhere around, and so we'll try to usher him in shortly. We'll try to usher Avin in shortly. Right here to the show. We'll try to usher Avin Wise right here to the show. And so the vice president is behaving. I don't know how to term his behavior. But the way he's behaving, I think he needs to slow down. He needs to slow down. He needs to slow down. It is still very early. It is still very early that you started to give money to groupings to endorse you. I said, when I read our local dailies the other day, I was just laughing. I said, oh, a Jeremiah confused. He can be vice president and he can be president in the country 2029. Oh, is that how this boy dreaming? So now the man go sleep. Maybe that's why he sees in his sleep. But can a Jeremiah Kun be vice president in the country? Jeremiah, you joking? You have to slow down. You have to slow down, Jay. What you saying in the US? What you in the US and you saying? You feel you into Liberia on one political rally. That's how you feel. And you're not into Liberia on a political rally. But rather you've gone to the US and we expect you to be making the case for Liberia. That's what we expect of you. What we expect of you is to make Liberia case. You should be talking about some of the issues that are affecting the livelihood of our people. You should be pushing for people to come and help. You should be pushing for partners to come into Liberia. But not to go and start to say all sort of things against our former president. Simply because you want to be president 2029. And so that's what you're making out of the reckless statement. It's bad of you. It's very, very bad of you. Marco Sao said, good afternoon. My name is Marco Sao, following from Kakata, Maigibi County. Habaku Esto says, good afternoon. I'm watching live from Zweju City, Grangela County. Ambassador Emmanuel Kekla says, I'm watching live from Bangabon County. George Way, okay, thank you. Neton Kemun Gamosino says, good afternoon. Voice of Liberia, and I'm watching from Conakry, Guinea. Emmanuel Dologino says, good afternoon, VOL. I'm following from Banga City, Far East Junction residence. Robert Doe says, good afternoon. Brother, I'm following you from Red Light. Flumo Getala says, I'm following from Kokoya route. And so just keep dropping your comment. I will do the acknowledgement. Good afternoon. I'm watching live from Bangabon County. This common citizen thing has taken the country. Okay. Harris City says, as we're called for fire service, West Point is on fire. Wow. Hope the fire service can step in quickly to have this issue resolved. I don't know, too many issue of fire in our country. I don't know what's the cause. Amelia C.K. Glee from Banga City says, I'm watching. Let me take this song and see what we usher to the platform, our guest. Let's go.
Download your favorite song at originalhits.com.
Pepe can't change go. The papa said no one to do it. People can rock you. Lepe when you come in. Choo. I can see. All the good that do for me, oh. I pay your blessing to plant me and I get cut up to do, oh. You open door, you made a way. Make my enemy call away. They want to hold you down. I let them people not say, me all day. So tell them, I mean, I'm telling you, okay. She open the corridor for me to pass. I said, okay. She how you turn around for good from the way to bed. She great, I carried another mate. The kitchen and do well. Congratulations.
Yeah, we have 2 hour guests is en route here. So we'll continue the show. Once he arrived, we usher him to the platform this afternoon. Keep dropping your comment. OP Odin Johnson says, good afternoon. I joined the conversation from Doe community. Raz Johnson Jr. said, good afternoon. I'm watching you from my muffler engineering workshop at Third Street. Sincor Chairman Raz Johnson. Okay, the movement for Home Messiah. Emilia Glee CK Paul from Banga, Bon County. Joe Inakopo the second. She says, I'm following closely. Yes. And so, fellow Liberians, what's happening in Liberia with our vice president? He has become a disgrace to our country. And what the vice president is doing, it shows that he doesn't even understand the reason for which he was elected as vice president of the country. You know what I mean? Another country vice president. Imagine a country like Liberia, vice president. And then you go to the US and start to discuss your former leader. He's not talking about his visit to the US. Why is he in the US? What is it the country stands to benefit? But rather, he's heavily discussing the former president. Let's agree. That's your right. You want to be president, it's up to you. Once you reach the requirement, fine, you can contest 2029. But at this time, you are elected you guys were elected by the Liberian people to represent the country, to serve Liberians. And you just go into 2 years. And you've started to undermine your own government. You've started to undermine your own government. And what the vice president is doing, partners watching what he's saying, some of the remarks he's making. Oh, they got people watching. International people, they're watching. Because some of his statement, his outburst towards the former president, it shows clearly that he's not a reconciler. And somebody will feel that what he's doing, the president is in support of some of his comments. And you can be a vice president and you'll be making the kind of remark you're making. Not even in your country, but in the US. You're not discussing policy issues. But you're there and discussing how somebody or how former president are common citizen. How does that benefit us as a country? How does that benefit us as a country? Okay, yeah, I agree. The former president are common citizen. In your word. But what do I get to do with all Liberians? How does that improve our lives? It doesn't. It has no impact on us as Liberians. Automatically, it has no impact on us Liberians. What we expect of you as a vice president is to work with the president to ensure that the promises you made in the election, the promises you made, they fulfilled. But you're not doing it. You've gone to the US and you're making all set of statements that doesn't represent a vice president. It doesn't represent a vice president. Honestly, it doesn't represent a vice president. On a serious note, and I see people on social media whole day they celebrating him for his childish comments. Let me take this song.
Yeah, all my kids they wanted me for. All of my kids I give it to God. They think you like you la all of my mom, they pack la job,
So we'll take few calls. On this issue. My guest is somewhere around. He's somewhere around the compound. So we'll take few calls, and once Arvin steps in, we will have Arvin on the show. I'm told he's already around. So let's take few calls on the issue we've discussed. Let's take few calls, and once Arvin comes, we'll usher in, and we have our discussion right here. Like I said, there are too many issues Arvin will be speaking to this afternoon on the show. And so welcome wherever you are. We'd like to say welcome. This is Voice of Liberia, 90.7 in Banga, Bon County, 89.7 in Kakata, Maigibi County, 95.7 in Grand Bassa. Let's take this person right here on the line. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show. What's your name? From where you join us?
This is the voice of Andrew Fire, and I'm joining from the office of the Massive Rescue Mission Information Hub.
Go ahead. Let's hear you.
Firstly, let me say thanks for your talking point this afternoon. But when it comes to the statement made by the vice president couldn't have put that statement any better like the way he did. And he was just straight to the issue.
Okay.
You see, our former president, everyone respects him, right? But hello. I
don't want you to use the word respect.
No, but they make
but I don't want you to say respect now. Don't say respect. In your word, he's a common man. So what's the essence of Jeremiah Kun respecting him?
No, but listen.
How does that sound? How does that sound as a respect? You're calling the man president, and you say the men are common man.
The point is that the former president refused to shake certain group of people hands.
So meaning he should be. So meaning he should be disrespected by Jeremiah Kun.
That statement was not disrespect.
And you feel where he made a statement. I mean, that was the right time and the right place to make a statement, right?
No, but making a statement, that was the right time to make the statement.
In the right place.
No, let's forget about the place, right? Because, but the time.
And that was his intent. That was the intent of his visit to the US. Thank you. Let's get this pressing. Hello.
Yeah, hello, brother. How you doing?
I'm okay. Welcome to the show. Let's hear you.
Thank you. I'm Andrew Dwell calling from Cloudtown.
From Cloudtown. You're live. Let's hear you.
Yeah, you see, brother, you see, I'm not you let it launch just now. People who don't bring corruption in the country here. You see, the vice president Jamaica, when America, he don't have anything to do there. Because I will say, he's going to go and lobby for Liberian people. He see young people crying for a job. But he left all that money and he go and why he disgracing himself and said he's the former president. What? Who the war is looking at? So I don't know. I don't know. I don't want to put you looking for in the country. You don't even go exactly here. You are supposed to endorse you. Put money for people to endorse you. You want to mind your own boss man who employ you. You want to mind him. Well, I've been suspending already. So thank you for that. Thank you.
Who suspended who?
Oh, seriously, if I was your baka, I suspend Macum because you want to go to my government.
All right. Thank you. 0773419502, 0773419502, 0773419502. Those of you in the counter, 0773978564. Good afternoon. Welcome to the show. You're live. Let's hear you. What's your name?
Yeah, my name is Abraham Jackson. CJA Bagu I'm calling from Sydney.
Go ahead. Let's hear you.
Yeah, that for Jena, you know, go to that. Oh, you know, go to that. I don't do nothing. You supposed be worried about people knowing your lamp, brother. I tell you.
No, everybody.
You supposed be worried about people knowing, brother. I tell you. Even that you know, to say better. You supposed be worrying. You have to say as a better.
No,
they were hard time going to. They make way America. So lobby for people to get this or job to do. He said to do it, go sit down there. He start talking food in that way more.
Thank you.
Former president will cap he can be passing. What about TV? They get talking this. What I was saying.
Thank you.
Where's that?
Thank you. Let's get another person on the line. Hello.
Yeah. Good afternoon, George.
Yeah. Welcome. What's your name?
Yeah, I'm Peter David Council. I call from Honor the Street Light in Roy Johnson. Thank you for the fascinating discussion.
Go ahead.
Yeah, George, it is complete unfortunate situation that we have such a leader and Jeremiah Kun that does not even understand the scope and the operation of the vice presidency and the leadership in our Liberian society.
I mean, the best sounding there, even he, the common citizen.
Go
ahead.
You see how the country is running? The guys, they are mentally depleted. They have a very low IQ. You were in America. It is what you told the Liberian people that you'll be discussing, John Zia. You told them, look at the arrest agenda. You left the arrest agenda that you're discussing here. You told us the American that temporary Canada 1,005. You told us that you are going to create jobs, American. We are not going to, let me tell you, the way these guys are limited, we'll continue to remind them. We are not going to allow them to be drained, to escape the reality because they want to escape. You told us that you are going to connect the 15 political subdivision with payroll. Those are things that you said. He said you are going to make electricity to be stable today. When current go, that 1 week within a particular community. Then you are not thinking on that. When you sat down there, you market your ignorance to the international community discussing why we are the not shaking. Are we are going to shake your hand, my man? Everybody after you in this particular country, Jeremiah. Everybody after you because you are a human pastor. No.
Thank you. My man, I want an allegation. You not see the man said him be here. Hello, welcome. What's the name for where you join us live on the show? Go ahead.
Good afternoon. It's Away. How you doing?
I'm okay. Welcome. Let's hear you. What's your name?
Yeah. My name is
the street light.
No, I'm James Wade. I'm the chairman of the President Assembly District 16, Nikru Town.
Oh, you're welcome. Go ahead. Let's hear you.
They should have the representative, Jason Ravi Shibu, who believe in the accountability and the rule of law.
Go ahead.
Back to the point. Mr. Way, let me tell our Vice President, Jeremiah Kun,
The problem of this country and the Liberian people is not who common or who is not common. It's about electricity, pipe, water, good education. And our investors come to improve the life of the Liberian people. It's our concern. Our concern is not who common or who is not common. The vice president should know. We're talking about the rule of law. How the rule of law will be upheld. How our leader will respect the Constitution. They will respect the decision of the Supreme Court. These ever-potent men, these judges, who are learned over the years and read between lines and control the country and hold the law that things should be all right, that the country should be peaceful. There are people who will not call themselves representatives, and our lawyers will talk. Our lawyers on the Supreme Court bench will say something, then they will take it around and say that local talk. These are the things we need to put under control. It's our concern. It is not who common or who is not common. Jeremiah should know.
Thank you.
If you use the amount of money to travel to the diaspora, when you go tell the Liberian that somebody is common or somebody is not common, then it is very sad indeed. The level of his education should be questioned.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's get another person on the line. This person, welcome. What's the name?
Hello?
Hello, welcome. You're live on Bits and Pieces. Let's hear you.
Yeah, Eunice, father calling for Asomita compound.
Go ahead.
So I listen to the radio and I hear a lot of callers trying to put it the vice president. The president, he's not a puppet. He was asked a direct question and he was answering to the question. But the problem we have in this country is we don't respect our leaders. And everybody trying to blame the
And who's the leader? Who's the leader? Hello, who's the leader you think they're not respecting?
I'm talking about we the citizens. We can't respect our leaders.
And who's the leader that they? Hello. Who's the leader that the colors did not respect?
Yeah. This vice president, we are discussing the vice president.
The way he sounds, or the way he sounded in the U.S., did he respect former President Weah in any way?
He was asked a question. So why you didn't ask the general
You think? Hello. Okay, thank you. You don't want to listen to me, so hello.
Is this your way?
Yeah, go ahead. You're live.
This is the voice of PSI Nigeria from Sokle District 4.
From Sokle, go ahead.
Mr. Way is so pathetic when discussing vice president of a country who doesn't know the constitution of that same country. Let's say for instance, Mr. Way, the vice president said when he in America, when the president tells him to leave where he was, I'm going to leave. The last time I checked, the people who went at the will and pleasure of the president are the cabinet minister. When I check on the list, I didn't see anything in the vice president. And the constitution said, and the president and the vice president shall be elected on the same ticket, and the vice president will aid. The constitution also said that he will preside all the Senate. So you want to tell me what the vice president presiding all the Senate when the president say, president in public, you have bad things, you know. I mean, I want to preside all the Senate, you're not presiding all the Senate, and the constitution giving the instruction to do that. So the vice president, it can really baffle me when he brings the second-hand office in our name to a public dispute. Why can't those guys, the color brigade, one of them just call, why can't they just provide or SOS or aid to the office of the vice president to just help him to better interpret the constitution to him or to do research and provide him with informed background that next time we take the podium in the public, he will not just research our constitution and get this. They never brought a disgrace and humiliation upon our country.
Thank you.
Even disregarding who is common, who is not common. Being common, not being common, they made a call common the last time on the internet and not reacted to it. So the man agree, when he common, not common, he agrees. But being common and not being common, it doesn't solve the Latvian problem. The problem he was elected to solve is the hard time of Latvian access way, the electricity problem, the employment problem, the education, the health sector problem. Those are problems Latvian access way, and that is the reason why he and his boss were elected. But the boss is on the other side telling people to look for a job for the youth. Why he and America thinking about who will pass when he's passing? What a shame.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's get another person on the line quickly while we await Alvin Wizard to come. Let's hear you. Hello, welcome. What's the name?
Don't know, my brother Josh.
Yeah, what's your name from where you call?
Thank you very much. My name is Ali Badikoma. I'm picking family. I call you around the car.
Go ahead.
Joe, I always say I like to commend you for your tolerance going to the platform. Taking part on the show, it is not rare by giving to whether you are a exhibition, you are a UPS, any other political party. It's just a privilege I give it to every one of us.
Mm-hmm.
So when you give all the privilege, other people are saying, don't answer, don't tell the other people.
My brother, make a point.
Yeah,
yeah,
my brother, we have to lead the team. We are Liberian and we make up political differences. So let me say this. I agree with the vice president 99.9%. That only one thing he said in a particular interview that I not agree with you. When you refer to a former president, we are ordinary a person in this country. No. For me, I not agree with that. We have to be truthful to our country. There is no way if you serve the country as representative, they forget about presidency. If you serve as representative, you're not ordinary person again. You are a stakeholder in a particular country. For me to talk about somebody serving at the highest ship in the land, they refer to that kind of person as ordinary person. No. If you go and say it's your private citizen, oh yes, that one part I will agree because no more in the government shall go over our country in playing a private role now. My former Madam Shelly, so I will agree. But the black person so thing in a particular interview like a key. He said, what will happen today? Former president, we are you here, you serve a country, and you left the photo before that. He said, I myself tomorrow, the same people can kill me for what the thing enough for you and myself, and for the Liberian people. It is not true that the power is for us, and for us. So what it makes sense so much that was denigrated to our former president, because for me, I still looking for why he said that was very respectful to the former president. I said, can you refer to the former president? My big brother is here. My big brother, I went to him to go shake it. But in Papa, me 3 different times. He did shake my hand the other day. I listened to the former president. He said anything that made shake Jeremiah because he expecting.
Where did the president? What did the former president make that other remark? Where did he make that other statement?
We keep on King's FM with Abraham Gossin. We are asking the question on King's FM on a radio station.
I'm not listening to that. I'm not listening to that. Thank you.
Okay, all right.
Thank you. 0773419502 0773419502. Those of you in the county 0773978564 0773978564 are the numbers that put your voices through this afternoon on the show. Look, probably there are still some of you who the party sentiment things take care of you. But honestly, right? Let's be real. It is not about whether you are Unity partisans or where you come from. But it is about the reality. Let's be honest to the disco. They are listening to one of our brothers who just called, and he tried to disagree with the vice president. Look, honestly, a serious money vice president can leave from a country and you go to another country that you depend on as well to help your country, and you go and start to ill discuss your former president. Look, probably some of you still getting anything wrong, and you want to shift blame to the question that was posted by the vice president. Especially, look, let me tell you something. The journalist wasn't wrong to have posted the question. Take into consideration the time where the country, and we just came from a heated election. And so what we needed, or what the vice president should have done in a better way to address the question, he needed to find a better words and place it, but probably, I don't know. But I don't know how some of the comments he made, how it help us as Liberians, how his comments improve our lives as ordinary Liberians. But it's up to you. Yeah, it's up to you to look into that. You can listen to his comments and see as to how it will help you. I think the vice president were to talk about his visit to the U.S. Why is he in the U.S.? And what is it Liberia stands to benefit upon his return to Liberia, and too many things. But again, that's the vice president we have. A man who is very greedy for power. The man can do anything. That's why I said to the other guy, I said, be careful with you guys that are protecting the president. You'll be careful with Jeremiah Kuhn. Yeah. When a lot of men go to the president, a lot of men go near the president. Trust me. You always say there's a guy who worked at Voice of Liberia. He said it the other day. But the tough talking Ivan Wizard is here. And like I said, Ivan Wizard will be our guest this afternoon on the show. Too many things happening. Somebody will say disrespect to the former president. Too many things. You listen to Henry Costa, the manager woke up and he started saying all kind of things about the former president. The issue happening up Capitol Hill. And too many things. So Ivan is here. We'll talk about them this afternoon. We'll take this very short break. To be right back.
Hip.com.
Download your favorite song at originalhits.com.
They pocket rock you, lepe, we family, choo. I can see. All the company do for me, oh. I beg your blessing to plant me and I get cut up to do, you open door, made a way. Make my enemy call it. They want to hold me down. I let them people let them show me all day. So they're not me, now they're telling you, okay, she open it, call it up, and make it happen. See how you turn around for good, and they were to she great, I carry it, and on your head, the kitchen and do well, congratulations. Yeah, all my kids that wanted me for. All of my kids I get it to go. They think it'll do it, la pola mama, le papi la zoba, make it la do. See the thing I do. She like to say we not done, so. Me, I got papers, you turn it around for me. When all of them were looking down on me, they point to the show. Your own part is slow but show. Tell me I could tell me inside. Used to put your left out, tell me what's that. They let them down, they upgrade. Papi, I do as you say. I can see. All the company do for me, oh. I beg your blessing to plant me and I get cut up to do, you open door, made a way. Make my enemy call it. They want to hold me down. I let them people make them show me all day. So that not me, now they're telling me, okay.
And of course, welcome back to the show. Like I said earlier, our guest this afternoon is Ivan Wizard. And of course, Ivan Wizard is the vice chair for operation and political education of the CDC Youth League. He's here this afternoon on the show. Let's welcome to the platform Ivan Wizard. Ivan, welcome to the show. How are you?
Well, Comrade George, thank you very much. I'm okay, and I'm very much glad and grateful to honor your invite. And let me bring you warm revolutionary greetings and a profound felicitation to the masses movement, and also to all of our cadres and militants, the progressive forces, those who believe in the noble cause and the noble struggle of our movement, particularly the Indomitable Mighty Congress for Democratic Change, by extension the Coalition for Democratic Change.
How is the Youth League of the CDC?
Well, the Youth League of the CDC is the social democratic movement in the party that has enjoyed political autonomy, revolutionary autonomy, since its establishment, since its incipiency, particularly during the time of Jefferson Tamaikoji, now to the time of Comrade Emmanuel Mobile Johnson, and up to where we are in order, we are in perspective, and we making efforts across the political landscape teaching our people, providing enlightenment for our people, consciousness, and engaging into other productive activities that is gearing towards developing the private sector. We sending some of our best brains and cadres in different colleges and universities. Some of them are now going to different vocational institutions, for example, because we want to have multiple recalibration at every front, because 2029 the CDC is the next ruling party in the country, and I will be inaugurating His Excellency President George Manawiya as the president, presumptive president of the country. So the Youth League is taking cognizance of all these initiatives as part of our inherent responsibility as the first line of defense. I mean, first line of defense, not just defense, the ideological defense, and the last line of battle in the history of the party. So we're doing well.
Someone listening to you would say your party is now into the leadership of the country. Why are you still helping sending people out of the country, paying school fees and all of that?
Yeah, it's simple here. You see, in terms of the responsibility of political parties, if you go beyond the definition of political parties, it tells you clearly that political parties, particularly the opposition political party, is a miniature to a government. That is to say that it is government in waiting of government by extension. So what is done in government, political party is the microcosm of the larger society. So you do not have to wait to come to national leadership before you educate and broaden the horizon of your members. The CDC has experienced governance 6 years ago. We've seen some of the challenges and political missteps, I mean procedural missteps, and the kind of feedbacks that we've gotten from our partisans. So on the trajectory of recalibration, we decided to inculcate some of these strategic interventions that geared towards building the minds of our militants, increasing their potential, the capacity to make them active players, effective decision makers in the next, few years to come, to take over the governance bureaucrats of our country and lead the country to a restoring national democratic order in the country. So again, like we said, political party is government in miniature. And also it's a macrocosm of the larger society. That's what we are. That's what we stand.
Will this continue?
After 2029? It's part of the political culture. It's a routine dynamics in the CDC. Yeah. As far as the CDC is concerned, is always, particularly the Youth League, is always into that. Because let me tell you this, the Youth League of the CDC is the most vibrant youth league in the country. In fact, in West Africa.
Okay.
Yeah, as compared, because currently, in terms of the current political dynamics, there is no youth league that you can compare to the youth league of the CDC. By academic standard, by intellectualism, by entrepreneurship, business, education, leadership abilities across the country, because this youth league is the most sophisticated youth league in the country. Go look at the bench of the youth league. The CDC youth league from days of Jefferson Tamakoji up to this time. There are men over there who have gone in the rank of fire, who've been tested, battle-tested cadres and militants who've been processed to national leadership many years ago. So we do this as a routine, normal. We do this as a culture of imparting knowledge and building capacity for our young people. That's why some of our programs and our activities, we handle it in a way that that's what makes the youth league very more attractive when it's much more vibrant.
One major reason that the Liberian people booted your government out was because of the same scholarship stuff. They said you were wasting resources. Your government, were just wasting resources, and they were not catering to the priorities of the people. And now you still giving scholarship opportunities for young people. Don't you think this will also serve as a hindrance to your election in 2029?
Well, at our mission in the the current political dispensation of our body politics is not to perpetuate our political existence into public bureaucracy or governance. Because the fundamental reason why people go to government is to serve and not to perpetuate themselves into service. Okay. So, and we construe it from the perspective of the Youth League and the CDC, that whether or not you are opportune to serve in government, service is a constant variable that does not change. So you can still be in the opposition and make significant intervention, impact in the life of the masses of our people. That's why you see all presidents where before becoming president and before enter into the political arena of our body politics, he's done so much well in the private sector. He developed a lot of businesses. He have educated a lot of Liberian citizens, engaged into some humanitarian and philanthropic initiatives and projects across the country. So that is the nature of the CDC. That is a foundation of the CDC. It is what has germinated into the masses of our people. So whether in government or not in government, the CDC continue to run some of the bigger vocational institutions in the country. The CDC continue to remain one of the most outstanding and vibrant political parties in Liberia, and the CDC constitutes the democratic, lion's share of what we have today in the politics.
What's the target? How many young people you want to ensure that we
don't have the capacity? We don't have the capacity. I'm just telling you. You asked me a question, foundation question, so I just try to drill you through the little intervention we're making. We do not have the economic capital, the political capital to go cover the 15 sub-political divisions in terms of the level of impact you are questioning about. All we're saying is we ask us where we are, what we're doing. With the little intervention, I try to give you a synopsis on that. So yes, relatively few young men and women are engaged into different skills, education, training, vocation, college, entrepreneurship, but it's on a minimal scale because of our nature, our current nature as opposition now. So the onus is upon the government that has the rest of the national resources that presides over the state covers. Now we should be asking the government questions about her promises or deliverables when she went to the library.
We'll come to that. So let's talk about the recent outburst against your political leader of recent. You listen to the current vice president, Jeremiah Cohn in the U.S. He termed your political leader, in fact, as a common citizen. He used some words and said other things about the former president of the country. I'm quite sure you listened to him. What can you say as the chairperson for operation and political education of the Youth League of the CDC?
Jeremiah Cohn is a misrepresentation of a vice president.
You say misrepresentation?
Misrepresentation. He's one of the worst vice presidents Liberia has ever had. Let me say this to you.
Go ahead.
George, when you leave the country, for each time an individual of such portfolio of nature travels, you do not only go there to represent your office, your family, and yourself. You represent the broader masses of our people, the Liberian populace in general. And that everything you say has either a positive image on the country, on the population, or you have negative image on the country and on the population. Whenever a vice president leaves the country to engage into major interview where you talk to people in the diplomatic eclipse, you talk to people from the diaspora, they expect you to roll out what are the potential investment portfolio that you can attract to bring back to the country and solve some of the issues confronting the impoverished masses of our people. So, but when a buffoon, not just buffoon, a glorified buffoon
elevated to that stage on international platform, major international platform, and interview. And he appear into that interview very ignorant. And the only thing is to distribute vulgarity, platitudes, and to vomit innuendos. It was a misrepresentation. And everybody was surprised. So, how can Kung go over there and declare to the world, Donald Trump will not do that to the former president Barack Obama? They will not do that to Jimmy Carter. They will not do that to Hillary Clinton. They will not do that. All those that have served, when they retire or when they are not in office, you can disagree with them professionally, but not to use international platform. Not to use international platform to denigrate. And not only to denigrate, but to try to repudiate their repetition.
You think
that was not the stage?
You think his statement was pre-calculated?
It was premature. Very premature. And not only that it was premature, he lacked the capacity to deliver adequately on the current agenda of the United Party, particularly the arrest agenda.
The last time I checked, Vice President Kun was in Nimba, and he made some statement at the time in Nimba. I think that was the time the senator of Nimba, Pastor Prince Johnson, he said some things about the former president, and again in the U.S. He again says some things about the former president. Why always Jeremiah Kun is always disrespecting the former president? Why you think you always continue to disrespect the former president?
It's a fear tactic. It's a fear factor. He's still obsessed with presidential complex. He's still obsessed with presidential complex. He's overly ambitious. But the thing about being ambitious, sometimes it leads to power intoxication, and you intoxicated with power. That's why you can see him verbaging and spewing out the arrogance against the former president of the country. This is the first time, George, in the history of Liberia democracy, it is the very first time. It is the very first time. How many former presidents we have in our country? Just 2. Other countries, we experience a dangerous historical precedence where we were never opportune many years ago to have former presidents still living and contributing towards the significant drive of the society. We have 2 or 1 of former presidents in the country. It is incumbent upon you to give them courtesy. That's what the Constitution, that's what the law say. International best practices. But to cast out that aspirations and using war like common, or you say common, and that's what we said in our press conference yesterday. That it was a complete threat on the life of the political leader of the Congress for Democratic Change.
Why do you think it was a threat?
Because what does the government do to common people? The government shoots, kills. The government removes common people from the speakership, take people from tenant jobs, unleash police brutality on innocent people, common people, beat up motorcyclists, vandalize, lawmaker can. So when you call somebody common, it means that they do not have protection, because common people do not have justice. There is no justice for common people. Under this administration, there is no justice, there's no accountability, there's no protection for common people. So it was a political attack on the life of the political leader and former president, His Excellency President George Manawia. To have said that he's a common man, the last time when they call people names, such as common people, people lost their lives. And George, under the system where there is a total breakdown in the rule of law, a breakdown in the rule of law, the Supreme Court has been infiltrated. Burger is using every means possible to undermine the criminal justice system, the police, the DEA. It's in crisis. The legislature is at war. Then you have a gangster of a vice president, a gangster of a vice president, a mafia parading as a gangster, making loose statement and declaring a peaceful person, a former president of the country, as a common man. It is an attack on his person, and it threatens his life, because this vice president is a vice president. He is the man who presides over the Liberian Senate. Apart from that, this man parade will get us. They may have a dangerous human rights record. They may have a very dangerous record in terms of his recent past history. So what I'm saying here is that
go ahead.
This man presides over in so many different institutions. He has access to the police. He has access to people in NSA. He has access to people who are covert death squads, parading covert death squads that are now being hired as hired assassins. So when he make a statement, we do not see if that statement came from an ordinary person, it wouldn't have been an issue. But a certain vice president who sees Her Excellency President George Manawiya, the political leader of the Congress for Democratic Change, as the presumptive president, therefore, that his presence in Liberia should be a threat for each time he sees the man, because he has a parochial ambition 2029. And you declare him common man before your desperate supporters, your dangerous supporters, who see that as a threat on his life.
What do you think the vice president would be pushing in the U.S. instead of attacking the former president?
The vice president should be telling us that since USA has withdrawn major programs in the country, and there's economic crisis in the country, there is lack of security, too many deaths, extrajudicial killing in the country. He should be putting forth recommendations. He should be providing solutions. He should tell us, what has he brought back to the country? What did he bring back to the country? What has he brought back to the country? The last time Joseph Nimabaga traveled to Kosovo, what did he bring back? The last time they went out of the country, they brought food, they brought a criminal deal called a yellow machine. They brought rotten buses. Only for a vice president to lead the country, the only thing he brought back is to call somebody common. Is that what the people elected you for? Is that what the people elected you for? You were elected to solve the bread and butter issues. When you came to power, you said you will address the issue about increasing civil servant salaries. There would have been access declaration, access recovery, 10,000 young people, digital education. You increase civil servant salaries, you pay the rules. Hospitals will not go out of drugs. Health workers will smart.
You think those campaign messages were just lip service?
Teachers were smart. They said teachers were going to smart. They said teachers were going to smart. They said health workers were going to celebrate. Health workers were going to dance. They said they were going to connect the roads.
Are you not seeing them?
Across this country.
They're not being done?
We cannot see everything. The government has admitted that she has failed on 1 year and some more months. The government has admitted that she has failed. And that's the reason why the economy today, that the prayer-bearing economy, Mr. Augustin K. Gaflan, said clearly that Liberians must begin to pray. When a former minister asks a population to pray, that means he's clueless. That he's clueless about solutions that will impact the economic condition of the masses of our people.
One of your sons of the CDC, somebody would say, the embattled speaker Funanti Kofa, he's been fought in his post as Speaker of the House of Representatives. He's been following this rigmarole. The Speaker of Ghana, he's currently in the country, according to the majority bloc. They currently having a retreat. What's the stance of the Youth League at the moment in order to have this issue resolved?
We do not recognize Mr. Reggie Kun as Speaker. We said that. And Mr. Kun himself has said it, that he's a puppet speaker of a regime. He says he's a regime speaker. And the Constitution does not recognize regime speaker. So he's now legitimately, constitutionally and democratically seated.
Okay.
All what he's doing is just pontificating. He's parading arrogance. He works for a slave master, Bakai, who is the chief patron of crisis in the country, who's serving the stage to degenerate Liberia peace into into instability, into chaos. That's what you're doing. Nothing substantial they are doing. We don't care about whether you go to a retreat or not. What is about retreat when motorcyclists are not happy? What is about retreat when health workers are asking for decent salaries and pay and the hospitals are empty? What is the significance of the retreat? When you have teachers have done boycotting classes because they cannot receive pay. When students at the University of Liberia do not have access to buses, when students at the University of Liberia are struggling over buses, over chairs in the 21st century. So it is useless to go for a retreat when the masses of the people are in abject poverty and when the economic condition of the people continue to deteriorate under the reckless rescue administration and nothing substantial. I mean, from the perspective of policy direction, it's been put in place to ameliorating some of the economic hardship the masses of people are facing.
According to them, the intent is to have this issue resolved. David Monroe resolved at the House of Representatives.
You cannot resolve it when you have an illegitimate man being purported. He is not the speaker. The matter is there before the Supreme Court. You cannot resolve issue when an ignorant, incompetent vice president calls a former president a common man. How can you resolve issue? It is not a statement of reconciliation. That's divisive. It's a very divisive statement. And that this statement is tantamount to posing serious threat on the life of the political leader. Because Mr. Kun is a very powerful man. When I'm saying powerful, not in the context of leadership, but in the context of clandestine moves, in the context of gangsterism, in the context of hooliganism, in the context of some diabolical acts that this man. So when you are a very powerful man, when you close to major security intelligence, when you close to the Liberia National Police, NSA, as a certain vice president, and you declare a major opposition leader in the country as a common man, it means that your next action could be ruthless. It means that you declare him vulnerable. It means that he's not protected by the law. When President Joseph Newman Bwaka, former vice president, when he was the then former vice president under His Excellency President John Manwia, he was accorded every other courtesy and respect. He was given every other privilege under the Constitution, whether talking about security, whether talking about guardians, the government under President Weah, his administration. He visited him, called him. This is what a professional statesman would do in any civilized democracy, not a barbaric act. You call somebody. No, it is a provocation. Jeremiah Kun is an agent provocateur. He is provoking crisis in the country. He invoking crisis in the country. He's trying to play to the gallery of war. He's trying to play to the gallery of crisis. We will not go that route. Because when you say to a man who is a former head of state of the Republic of Liberia, former commander-in-chief of the armed forces of the Republic of Liberia, a man who commands a dangerous appeal of over 1.some more million of seditions. You look in the faces of his supporters, angry, determined, courageous supporters, and he declared that man como man. Isn't that provocation? Isn't that provocation? What's reconciliatory in that statement? What's peaceful in that statement?
You think it undermines the peace?
It threatens the national security of the country. Because President Weah commands massive support. Not only support, but he has the most amount of followers supported across the country. He's the most popular Liberian now in the country. The government have lost popularity, lost legitimacy. Take a microphone on the streets. The motorcyclists will not give you the answer you deserve from the government, because they say they'll give the government F. The Yana boys, the marketeers, the teachers, the tiny rescue missionaries and mercenaries, because they are two. They are missionaries, and they say that they are also mercenaries. Mercenaries are the gangsters who kill, who vandalize properties, who were beating people around the place, and they came to power. Some of them are in the community playing check-up, playing Lulu, Nobody given them the opportunity to come to serving government.
I've been quickly before we go to the phone line. Of recent, the Liberia National Police placed a ban on the motorcyclist. I'm quite sure you guys been following. Those of you from the CDC, specifically the youth league of the CDC, I'm told some of your colleagues or some of your friends, motorcyclists, that's what they do for a living, and they are also a motorcyclist. And that's what they do to sustain their family. And now the police, they've placed ban on these guys, telling them not to plow the street. Though they were compelled to do their business registration to get or to register their motorbikes, do their assurance and all of that, and the guys did. But now the police telling them, oh, though you did all of what you needed to do, but again you have to leave and go back to your communities. What's the stance of the league of the city?
Look, the police are very reckless, and I don't know, but the motorcyclists are more than the police. The police should start provoking the motorcyclists. They've been very reckless. How can you allow a gangster in this SOD boy, SOD boy, who entered and infiltrated the Liberia National Police from SOD days? President was sort of civilized a noble institution. The statutory responsibility of the Liberia National Police, as per the law, is to protect lives and to protect properties. Motorcyclists have lives, and their motorcycles are properties. What the government has done for the past few months against motorcyclists, fundamentally has always pushed and gave you some of the reasons why they went back to the 14 years of brutal and devastating civil crisis, civil unrest in the country. We are not praying for that, but those are recipes. Those are catalysts that exacerbated the brutal civil war in our country. Because when the people use might and take rights, then the alternative is to strike the street and for the people to determine and take on their own destiny. You ask the people to pay, the people are struggling to pay for what you call registration fees. We're in this one economy, very difficult economy, tough economy, a very selfish economy. And you say somebody motorcyclists should pay $250 United States. They register the motorbike. You ask them to pay for helmets. They pay for helmets. One for passenger, one for themselves. Not only that, you ask them to pay for lesson plate. They did that. Of all what they've done, the conversation today is not that motorcyclists disobey the regulation. That's not the reason why they ban motorcyclists from plying the streets of Central Monrovia. At the length, the Liberia National Police, motorcyclists did not violate the laws, the regulations, because they're in compliance as per all of the regulations and guidelines set out by the Liberia National Police, by the extension of the government. The only reason why they went after motorcyclists and they are still going after motorcyclists is for an incident that has been an isolated one after of the usual policy and regulation, because something happened at the slave way and somebody lost their life and a few people reacted. And on our law, when this happened, you do not transfer crimes. You deal with it, and those perpetrators must be brought to justice. For you to say that because a few group of motorcyclists allegedly went in defense asking for redress and justice for a motorcyclist who was thrown on a bus allegedly by a police officer, and they came out in defense, and because of that, you recklessly vomited a useless policy telling that they should not apply the principal streets of Monrovia.
Our guest this afternoon on the show is...
In conclusion,
go ahead.
What you have done to these people is nothing but exploitation. It's not only exploitation, but it's creating a serious embarrassment on the traffic. Students today are frustrated. They are frustrated against this government. The decision is bad. The doctors, the people who come to work in Central Monrovia, they are frustrated and embarrassed when you're making decisions, you're making policy, you take into consideration the economic condition of the people, you must take into consideration the security implication on the society, and take into consideration the political or the social implication it has on the people. Those are the end beneficiaries. So how will the people get jobs? Your rescue government has not ever produced jobs for the people. You use them to campaign. Why you can't give them the right to plant the streets? What have they done to you? What have they done to you? What crime have they committed? But again, we have said clearly, in our position at Youth League, we appreciate them for the first two protestations. Very democratic, very peaceful. And the stages of the revolution will continue from one phase to another phase. And we also said clearly, before you take your course, that the government of Liberia, from what we've listened to before, we have heard, because we have sources planted within the cabinet meeting, the cabinet meeting of the government, we have informants who got sources there. They have told us that by next month, the government of Liberia will declare and will cancel the free tuition, and the free wash policies.
Are you real?
I'm telling you, our sources in the United Party cabinet meeting told us that the recent cabinet meeting.
You trust your source?
I'm telling you. When the guy, Mr. Bama Masale, who killed a 17-year-old boy in Banjo when he escaped, our sources told us that it's in Sierra Leone. The Youth League has the biggest intelligence arm in the country. Our arm is sophisticated. As I speak to you, Gordon Cromer is not in the country. A week ago, he's been flown to Ghana. No, you cannot contest the intelligent capacity. The Youth League has a bigger intelligent arm, intelligent bureau in the country. So I'm saying this to you. If it is what the government would say, because next month Thursday, the government will be making that declaration to cancel free tuition. If the government tries it and they cancel free tuition and the wash policy, we will put the 12 billion in the streets. We'll put university students outside.
Probably the people see that as a waste of resources.
No, it's not a waste of resources. It's not a waste of resources. Why you call waste of resources?
But that was that campaign message.
So you have a Harvard-trained economist, Gafwan. You have a sub for the 2-year-old political liability and parasite, Joseph Yima Bwakai, who came to the presidency with lies and deception that he had all the experiences. He's been found money for the university students to get chairs, to get bosses, and sustain the free tuition policy. He must not go after the free tuition policy. If you do that, you're going after more than 400,000 students across this country. And after the government will have to blame ourselves, because the students will move on the ground. If that happens, the students will move on the ground to go and demand whatever means and whatever way they will do that in the democratic interest of their constitutional and inherent right to freedom, to education. And that is something that we are not going to negotiate about. So if the government is about to have that pronouncement next month, we're asking them to call it off or be held responsible for the consequences thereof.
Our guest this afternoon is the Vice Chair for Operation and Political Education of the CDC. He's Arvin Wizard. You've listened to Arvin lengthily this afternoon on the show. You have custom comments or recommendation. We can go to the line and take few calls, and then he will respond quickly, and we wrap it up this afternoon. I'm told he got another schedule to attempt to quickly. 0773-419-502, 0773-419-502, or better still, those of you in the county, 0773-978564. Good afternoon, welcome. What's your name?
Good afternoon, sir.
Welcome.
Here.
10 seconds.
And I call thank you very much, and I want to appreciate your speaker guest. But one thing I want to say here is that the government is the people they brought in order to better their livelihood. But when a government tries to go against its people, the consequences will not be on the people, but the government. The reason I'm saying this is for our government officials to come publicly to denigrate people that have followers, that people are following both locally and internationally, a hard political undertone.
Okay.
And this government is not popular. Equal thing, sir.
Yeah, this
government is not popular. So their action should be in the interest of the people. But when their action goes against the people, you will have yourself to be blamed. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Let's get another person. Good afternoon. Welcome. What's the name? From where you call? 10 seconds. Let's hear you.
Good afternoon.
Welcome. What's the name?
My name is Carmen Kessler, calling from 12th Street, St. Paul.
Game, go ahead.
Thanks so much to your serious guest. You know, Avi, no need to say that we will tell the students to come out. They themselves will come out. Because the high school students, the university students, they know that this problem is not in the interest of them.
Okay.
So they themselves will be willing, and we will make sure we stand by them.
Okay. Let's get another person on this from this end. Hello. Welcome. What's the name?
Oh, my name is Mr. Joseph M. Mato. I'm joining from Johnsonville.
Go ahead.
You see, my only disappointment in this country is like our only president, Mr. Weah, he has never been a trusted leader, opposition in the country. Because if Mr. Weah was someone who is very trusted in a country where you see the sitting government always disrespecting you all over, and you know you have the majority, you know what it would take when Mr. Weah even try to release and put people into the streets, you know what happened in this country? But he is very peaceful. So at the end result, all these guys who sitting around here, you know, they take advantage of it.
Thank you. Thank you. Let's get another person. Good afternoon. Welcome. What's the name?
Good afternoon.
Go ahead. Let's hear you.
My name is Paul Nkopo, and I call you the communication director of the Masses Rescue Vision Information Hub.
Go ahead. Let's hear you.
Look, it is shameful. Let me be blunt with Avin. We say, Avin, you are part of the whole order. The voice of the strong, have you not served in government before? Or had you
Hello? 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 You have to shake up a bit and just go to what we've discussed.
No, but then I'm coming there. Avin is lying. It's spreading intentional lies.
What is it that Avin said that you feel he's lying? Go ahead.
You should be an investigative journalist to make the man.
Hello. What is it specifically that Avin said that you feel that Avin is lying?
Some of you journalists are very
Hello.
Create a space for me, journalists.
Okay, I think I will create a space for you to sell your stupidity. Go ahead.
Okay, no problem. I will accept.
Go ahead.
Your guest is spreading an intentional lie that the government...
What is it specifically that Avin said that is lying?
The government is not planning to cancel any wide fee. That is intentional lie.
All right, thank you. Hello. Good afternoon. Welcome. What's the name from where you join us? Hello. Okay, let's get this person quickly. Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon. Welcome to Bits and Pieces. Let's hear you.
My name is Jeremy, calling for this number 3 in my life.
Go ahead.
Problem. My brother, I'm having with Jeremy tell you something. They pass it in control. And when we not take time, we the city will not rise against the government. So the different will happen. I'm telling you, if I'm not in control. All I think they told me about nothing. I'm gonna ask you. And you will see it. I'm telling you, thank you very much.
Thank you. Hello.
Hello, good afternoon. How are you?
Good afternoon. I'm okay. Welcome. Let's hear you.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
You see, at times, I guess I'm so surprised of speaking the way you're doing. So, this man looking at, in fact, if the government wants to cancel the YSP and for something that he does here. He
talking about somebody age. Hello. Hello. Welcome. What's your name?
Yeah, Chion Koko is my name from Puebla.
Go ahead.
Okay, for me, I just want to go straight to the motorcyclist issue.
Let's hear you.
To my fellow motorcyclists, I want to tell you guys that the government don't need peace. It will just go every time whatever we say we'll go peace. There will be no reason. We had to turn the Capitol building.
No, I don't want you to go that route.
don't let it that's the truth because these people don't need if you just go every kilometer to.
My man, we all have a major role. Hello, we all have a major role in maintaining the peace of the country. I don't want you to urge the guys to do that. Our final caller, go ahead. Let's hear you. What's your name?
Yes. So you are protecting Abby. You don't want me to naked him? I will naked him.
My man, yeah. That what can happen when you lack of words. Hello, welcome. What's your name?
I'm sorry, but I would like to say this, you know.
Okay, let me get another person. You've made a point earlier. Hello, welcome. Hello.
Yeah, how you doing?
I'm okay, Oma. Let's hear you.
Okay, this is my sister calling from Private Town this afternoon. Let me say thanks to my son, Abby Wilson. Look, my son, let me say this to the Liberia people. I saw that man went to America to lobby for the Liberia people. Because there was time the president said Persevere was meeting cars and cowboys. But I saw people go down there and talk about Persevere to come on say this thing. It surprised me. Because he said the point demanded that one will win, will get your job. So they can see that they will tell you want to go lobby for all. That is bad for me. Why did they go to work for us today in America? Or they have to start robbing somebody went there for? They have to tell about the poor lie. They're not lying. They lie to keep the power and we're not lying to be in power. We will make sure we capture them in the country. They will learn a lesson.
Okay.
That's what I will say.
Thank you, Avin. You listened to all of the callers. Go ahead. Let's hear you.
Thank you so much. Let me appreciate all of the callers. Let me say this to the comrades, the motorcyclists. Freedom itself is not free. It's expensive. You gotta pay the price for it. And if you think that somebody will come from Ghana or Nigeria will liberate you, then you gotta wait for the next 6 years. If Joseph Yunman Boakai, one of his appointees, Patrick Honda generator can make 3,500 and they took your motor bags, about 700 plus motor bags, and you sit in the community and do nothing, is that with you with your families? You'll be confronted with school fee issues, with hospital bills, with rent issues. When Joseph Boakai, who was living on loan, he said you are living on loan. This man said he's squander people opportunities. He's squander the opportunity of young people. And you young people who have gone in the private sector, you buy your motor bags. And Boakai comes to the country, no jobs. He taking away and taking away your motor bags and not only that, beating you and putting you behind bars. History doesn't liberate people who refuse to liberate themselves. History doesn't liberate people who refuse to liberate themselves. Maybe a month ago, Boakai was passing around, begging here. Today, Boakai runs private jet, but he's running after motorcyclists. If you can run private jet to go to Fuya, he said motorcyclists will not ride their bags on the principal streets of Monrovia. This is an affront. It's an affront. And motorcyclists must be courageous enough.
You think they also infringing on the right of the motorcyclists?
Of course.
Specifically their movement.
Freedom of movement is guaranteed. Like I said to you, it's not because of they violated the laws. It was an isolated incident that has to be investigated and perpetrators should be brought to justice. For you to transfer crimes and nationalize crime and stereotype crime on a particular people and target them. And they sit over there and they say, look, you went on the street 2 times. This government, the language the government can understand is the civil disobedience language. It is the civil disobedience language, which is currently under the Constitution of the Republic of Liberia. Joseph Yunman Boakai, it is not a Democrat. He goes to Capitol building and undermine a legitimate speaker. And he went there to have meeting. He instructs Kun and his guys to pepper spray and beat on lawmakers and thunder like a vehicle. He went to CDC party headquarters and shoot 15 hours marathon shooting against innocent people, armless people. He did not say that he went to King George. He went to the Supreme Court. He went to attending position. He went to civil service. And you motorcyclist, you sit here and you think that somebody will give you freedom. If you cannot free yourself, nobody will free you.
You think it is the president that
I'm telling you, the president
is initiating
it is the policy of the United Party government to keep motorcyclists in poverty and reduce them into petty criminals. Because if the men backs are taken away from them, if their backs are taken away from them and they are vulnerable, nobody to do what they end up in the community. And they'll come back to the country and say the young people are not serious. But the young people in the private sector are developed. a strategy to employ themselves. A useless government has come. And somebody said Jeremiah Kun, who said this to Kun, and they're asking President Weah. The youth league is asking President Weah to increase his security vigilance everywhere he goes moving forward. And the security was appointed, he got to increase it times 3. He got to do that. He got to do that. President Johnson did not listen. He did better with the people. You saw what happened to him. The guys are dangerous. They are power hunters, power despots. They are only there. If they can use democratic means, they use the Machiavelli way. He is a Machiavelli. Baka is a Machiavelli. There's co-impression is a Machiavelli. They use unorthodox means to get up. And that's why they see Libya as a color. Everywhere those men went. Everywhere he's going in the country. The people are frustrated. They're disappointed. They say, Papa, we're sorry, we made a mistake. I'm seeing you know partisans there. Look, the government, as I speak to you, the whole government is in a state of collapse, democratic collapse. No government yet. Nobody controls the state. Too many people having so many control over the president. That won't say it's a popular razar. We made that the mind of the president is not is empty. It's not developed to real-time public policy in terms of decision making that affect the condition of the masses of our people. So it's sad. And that's what I'm saying to the CDC partisans. You must increase your surveillance, increase your vigilance. The security. Citizens must begin to now rise to become securities of themselves. Because there's a breakdown in rule of law. The police now, they are so professional ones. We have sources in the police who talk to them every time. They did agree over Mr. Gregory Como that the police cannot be reduced as a killer machine. As a killing machine. The police cannot be killing people. Yeah, it's all be protecting lives and be protecting property. It's not be killing people. Why was police fighting all them? He fighting all the streets, beating people. The last time they were with the AFL. What kind of police is this? It reminds us of the days of Samuel Kanye, the days of Charles Taylor. This is not the country that George Weah left democratically. We are talking about sustaining the democratic gains. And this can only happen when there's a respect for the rule of law. When the Constitution is protected and respected. When the Supreme Court is given independence. When there's no interference in the legislature. When there's no political weapon. When corruption is being fought. Not on the basis of partisanship. But on the basis of the issue of facts and evidence to ensure that public service dignity is brought back to public service.
I mean, we gotta go.
So in conclusion, the youth league categorically condemns the reckless statement made by Kun. And we say Kun's statement is politically motivated and have security implication on life. If anything happens to His Excellency President George Manneh, we are moving forward. Because Kun's statement and remarks declaring a former president as a common man has already activated his Turkish gangsters, his hooligans, his dangerous death squad to go after the former president of the country. I would say if anything goes wrong, the CDC usually sees President Weah as a property of the masses. Nobody dares. If you can go around the Capitol building, do not play around. The standard bearer of the Indomitable Matter Coalition for Democracy, or else there will be consequences, political consequences. The matter will protect. The matters will protect. President Weah is a property. And that attack, moving forward, we are Liberians. We will not go elsewhere.
What's happening if this attack continue on your political leader?
I'm telling you, that we'll take a stance, democratic stance. The citizens will take a stance. The citizens will take a stance. What the death of Prince Johnson, what the death of other people, that will not happen in our case. When people are already intoxicated and desperate for power, they use orthodox means to go after people. Those languages they're speaking, we gotta go after those languages. Because we don't know. From declaring as a common man, the next thing will be a physical attack. The next thing will be a physical. It's possible if they can go after a speaker and pour him on before a corrupt LMP. If they can burglarize a speaker office. If they can pepper spray lawmakers, the way talking about the former president. What happened with the former president? Who is a very desperate political despot. He had a platform. He went on the international platform. He went out of the country and go to lobby, to speak the language, the diplomatic language for the Liberian people to understand, for investors to come in the country. That's what he went on the platform for. And you went only to go and desecrate. Imagine you went to the fear for President William is so much to the extent that they're asking you, how can we bring investors back in the country? And he's discussing, oh, come on, President William, come on, man. Is that your presentation to like serious people in the diaspora all around the place? They following you as a young man. You young man in your own time and space. You allow power to corrupt you, to make you so arrogant. A senior brother, somebody who have established political party for the past 24 years of establishment. Now that he begins senator. From senator, he begins president. And this man commands almost 1.7 million people across the country. And you look at such a man, you declare him because you got gangsters, police, you got gangster mafias, you have death squad in your hand, and you think they go after him by authoring you. No, we see that statement as a complete declaration of war on the life of a former president. Go and declare war on the life of a former president. And anything happened to Mr. Weah, President Weah, who is here responsible? Who must take responsibility if there's any casualty? Who will be here responsible if anything? Because we don't know. We don't know what will happen. When you ask what is a common man in the Liberian society, it's a common people who don't have protection, they don't have justice.
I've been taking.
But let me say this to you in my conclusion: that this time around, the story will change when the ball bounce. President Weah of yesterday, of 2005, 2011, on November 7, 2011, is that President Weah in 2029. We don't dare and challenge Mr. Kun in arrogance, because to every action there will be an equal opposite reaction. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Well, he's Avin Wisa, the Vice Chairperson for Operation and Political Education of the CDC Youth League. He has been our guest right here on today's edition of Bits and Pieces. And of course, that's how we like to leave you on the show. The name is George. I'm George Way. I presented the weekend's edition of the show. Bye-bye. I'm out.